Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends, thank you for stopping by for the Friend or Foe series Helios League. We have day number 3, so today is actually going to be getting really exciting, kicking off with Coin Flip Gaming facing off against Gorilla Muffins. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster Shargan, and joining me today on the caster's desk is the one who was once lost but is now found.
Oh, that joke will never get old, but I'm very happy to be back, especially now getting to do some more of the color side, and I can't wait to give some insight on these teams because I know a lot of these players quite well, and frankly, the season has been so good so far that I really cannot wait to see how these teams are going to continue since they are the opening match today.
Yes, definitely. And the next time you have some kind of caster name, I'm going to have to come up with something else, but we'll end up seeing how that goes. So I do want to point out that just based off of these bans right off the bat, we have a Malzahar and a Yuumi ban. Both of those are champions that I know are very toxic and for different reasons. And a lot of people just don't like him. And one thing to keep in mind is we are playing on patch 11.17, so that Amumu ban is very important because Amumu does now have 2 charges of his bandage toss.
Oh, actually, yes. So I wasn't sure if that change had gone through yet, but I do know there is a short delay between each bandage toss usage, so he has about 3 seconds in between. But it has made him a lot stronger, and for one, I know Riot's trying to move him into more of an early game tank jungle focus, and especially, and avoiding talking any more about a move because Viego is locked in and the Busted King is still here, and I don't know why his kit is still found appropriate, but for whatever reason, he is. I'm so happy to see him be taking first pick, and it's going to be really interesting because I know he's been appearing a little bit in the top and mid lane, and that flex pick variety is really big for a first pick.
Yeah, especially on 11-17 now, I think top mid lane is a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say appropriate place for him to be, but he's definitely had some changes to his kit, some damage reduction, and across the board, other changes. We do see that the pickup of the Yone, which is something that we haven't seen Nico play a lot in the mid lane. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And then we also have a Vayne and Tristana lock in. So with that Tristana, with the Vayne, you kind of seem like what the bot lane is most likely going to be, but the Vayne is potentially a flex pick, as is Tristana into the mid lane. So we might have to look and see where that goes.
Yeah, interesting that they would choose for the goats for the Yone so early. Neko hasn't really been much of an assassin player, so I'm actually expecting that pick to head towards Bacon Pancakes, as that seems like something more in his wheelhouse, and then Neko will still opt to take a mage. But it'll be interesting to see her debut on assassin if she chooses to go into that direction. But what I'm most interested in is for Vayne being selected. So Tristana is a conventional counter pick into Vayne because Vayne has such little wave clear. Tristana pushes her in so heavily, and is one of the few AD carries that can win the straight up all in at level 6. So I really like the reprisal coming out from Sadis saying he wants to take a strong AD carry matchup and getting something that's good into what the enemy team has selected.
And it looks like we have our jungler and mid laner pickup for Coin Flip jungler for Gorilla, mid laner for Coin Flip Gaming with that Azir. I've always liked Azir. I think he's a mechanically intensive champion to play, so it's a little bit tricky if you're not used to it. We haven't seen Fake Archer on Azir lately, so like obviously because they're a new team, we're still sussing out exactly what their capabilities are. So I'm looking forward to seeing maybe a little bit more styling coming out from Coin Flip Gaming. Zach is an always good pick, in my opinion, when it comes to jungler. He's very stable, very safe. Got a lot of utility in there that just allows him to affect a lot of portions of the map. And in a way, it's kind of like an Amumu with the grab.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach has been returning quite heavily in the meta. We just saw Tarzan, one of the jungle guys from Korea, pull it out into his game in the Chinese league for LNG. So Zach he still has the same weaknesses he always has. He's probably the worst jungle duelist in the game. So it's really important to pick strong lanes when you have something like this. And I expect if Street Smurf is the one drafting, that's the avenue they're going to look to go into. Yone is a good start. Yone can be a strong laner, especially into Azir, but they're going to need something a little bit stronger on this top side. So these next couple bans are going to be very important.
Yeah, and just speaking of the next couple of bans, we already see that the Sona Fiend has already been banned, so we're not going to be seeing them pull that out this game. I am interested, once again, seeing that there's the Lee Sin, so obviously they don't seem to think that Viego is going into the jungle with that Lee Sin ban, or it could be targeted at the Lee Sin top that Pull Volter is potentially able to pull out from their wheelhouse. So that's just going to be something that's a little bit interesting with that. They are taking quite some time on this final ban, but it does eventually lock in on the Leona.
Yep, so the Leona Blitz is taken away, trying to pinch out in the car. The support pool has been heavily hamstrung, so a lot of the good mages are taken out. Sona is extremely strong right now, so I'm happy to see that ban. The options for these support players are quite limited. It looks like Nautilus is probably going to be the avenue for Nakar, and then what on the side Sona Fiend takes is really up in the air. But both these teams need a lot more engaged to round out their composition, so that really should be the avenue they're looking into. And Annie is something that helps out a lot of that, whether it's going mid or support. That Tibbers is the easiest stun in the game to land, so why not take a champion that has very little area execution, which means the Yone will be headed to the top lane.
For the youngest champion, like from a character standpoint in the game, but is definitely one of the oldest since they've been around since the beginning, Annie's simplicity has never really changed, and I think that's one of the great things about her. And it makes it so easy to pick up, so easy to use, and you can put them in a versatility of different ways. But like you said, that is the easiest stun to drop. You can get a massive 4-man, 5-man stun just by dropping Tibbers into the back line. And it's always really nice to see. Then we see that the Darius pickup, though, over there for Pulvolter. Going up against Bacon Pancakes, I think he's expecting the Yone with picking up that Darius, so he's going to be able to basically anytime jump in with that Spirit form from Bacon. Darius is going to be able to pull him in, lock him down, get a decent amount of damage off, so be able to win that. And then we see the Seraphine pickup to finish out that Sona Fiend.
Yeah, that was definitely going to be one of the avenues that she was going to go for. Now, with Yone being selected and with the way this draft has gone out, the Annie can still be flexed to the support role, which may be something they're going to look into doing, because you don't really want Yone to be matching up against Darius. That matchup is very, very difficult. Yone requires a lot of gold and money. You can't really afford to be stunted by a lane bully early. So I would like if they choose this Shen pick, something a little safer into the Darius, send the Yone mid, and just let Annie be your support.
Yeah, well, so just looking at these comps right now, I'm actually really worried about Gorilla Muffins because they picked that Vayne very early, got themselves counter-picked really hard with the Tristana, so that's going to be a really tough matchup anyway. Putting the Annie in the bot lane could potentially help them out. I do like the pickup for Shen onto Bacon Pancakes. It's going to give him a lot more map pressure, and we might be seeing, like Neko on a Yone this game, which will be the first time we've seen them on an Assassin.
Yeah, that is something that is going to be really interesting to see. But with with the way this draft has been taken out, I don't know how we're going with for the projections just yet. I'm pretty confident. I like what Gorilla Muffins has selected. I think they have the ease of execution on their side and a lot of wombo. So I'm gonna go more in that direction today. I'm gonna go. Let's go counter revolution. I'm counter logic. So we'll see if the Gorilla Muffins can pull it out.
I would have to agree with you. Ease of execution definitely is on their side. However, Coin Flip Gaming, I know I'm going against my own team that I sub for when I say that I'm just feeling them out this game, but I'm gonna have to give it to them for now.
All right, and with this is early warding is going to be very important in this game because Zach is such a weak jungler and Viego can just have his way with him so much for in the early game. So I really am interested to see where CFG is going to look to put their wards and how Trulax is going to navigate this early game because he is going to be the ball that's going to get Team Girl's composition going, and him getting off some good ganks and not being stunted in the jungle is going to be really important.
And now let's talk really quickly now about these lane assignments because this is a very interesting setup that we have from Team Girl. We've got Bacon Pancakes taking the Yone into the top lane, Annie into the mid lane, and then we've got Shen in support. So that is going to be a little bit more crazy. I'm not entirely sure. I like the idea of a Shen in the bot lane just because that Spirit Veil is going to allow him to block a lot of the auto attacks from Tristana because that's where a lot of her power comes from. So it won't be bumping up the bomb, but at the same time there's just no range on Shen in order to engage.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know how Gorilla has managed to pull this off. I think they have managed to lose all their lanes in draft. Just the way these matchups work, Yone has a really hard time to Darius, especially one who's taking Ghost Flash, so he's going very aggressively. Azir outranges Annie extremely heavily, and you always have to be concerned about getting shuffled in. Shen is a good for a kind of roaming heavy support, but into this straight up 2v2 matchup, you can never really walk up into Seraphine. The range difference is massive. It's about 600 units for Seraphine, and then even further for Tristana's auto attacks as she levels up. So all these matchups are going to be extremely hard, and Girl's going to need to not fall too far behind in early game.
Necker's going to have to be really, really careful in order to be able to look for an engage without taking too much poke, because as we saw right there, we've already got is really, really low, relatively speaking.
Yeah, this is one of those lanes we're looking for an all-in early is just the best option. A flash taunt onto Seraphine. Seraphine's extremely squishy. A PTA proc could easily be the end of her, but they're going to need either that or some early jungle help. But Trulax is pathing away, so you're going to be really far away from having this bot side be getting any real aid.
Yeah, and as we see right now, we've got Zach already moved up to the top side. He's getting his red buff right now. Probably going to be looking for a gank on the lane because you're going to have Darius pushing in this Yone. That's going to be a good opportunity for him. Yone should have a decent amount of sustain to where they can stay alive in lane against Helios, but they've got to be really, really careful, especially post level 3.
Yeah, at least it's not the ignite, so the all-in is not as dangerous as it otherwise could have been. But if you look at the HP in these lanes, Neko is taking a lot of poke so far. The mana pool is being hit. Fake Archer is going to be able to continue to punish, but the gank is being set up, and there's going to be a stun landing.
You have a gank already. Fake Archer is just kind of feeling it out and already walking away. He's able to escape with his life.
As Nekar takes a huge trade on the back end. Sadist has taken some damage also, but he still has a pot available. This Vayne is in an extremely tough spot, having already burned her pot and is still half HP, as Trulax is going to be in a bit of trouble.
Speaking of tough spots, you've got Trulax getting caught out here in the mid lane. He's about to get pincered by 3 members. Neko's trying to help them out as best they can, but they're not quite able to do it. Mexeron is continuing the engage. We have the stun coming out. Bacon Pancakes has come to join the fight, getting him really low. That's going to be a flash out of Viego, flash out of Neko. That is going to be a lot of damage as first blood goes over to Neko. Bacon Pancakes continuing the engage. Yone able to move back and out. He's got a lot of health on that health bar. So the only thing that CFG actually got out of that fight was Zach's passive, while we got first blood over to the side of Team GURL.
Yeah, that is good for Team GURL to pick up that wave, but Bacon Pancakes did sacrifice a lot to go for that. His wave died at the tower and is now pushing back into the Darius, so Trulax is going to need to help him out as soon as possible. But yeah, good first blood. Neko getting it is where the goal needs to be. If Neko can just threaten the one-shot on a 0 whenever he walks up to the wave, that's how Annie wins this matchup. So well-needed gold and gone to the right places.
And look at this, we do have Bacon getting a decent amount of engage on there, but the bleed is just causing him to fall a little bit behind on that trade. Meantime, in the bot lane, the trades have been going back and forth. Sonafine is just really low on mana, which Nekker takes advantage of, jumps right in on there. Spirit Veil comes out, so that is going to only be 3 hits on the bomb in order to get that damage off. Not quite enough, but that is just going to be a flash coming out from the side of Sonafine.
Yeah, absolutely. Sonafine going way too far with her mana pool. I'm surprised they didn't go for an early recall in this matchup. Just getting the extra resources in for the lane is how you manage to win a lane that could be more difficult on the outside. But here he goes,
getting his back interrupted.
Yeah, and this is a level up, so Bacon Pancake is going to need to stop and not aggress any further, as the Viego is right there, and any extra CC landing from Viego could be the end of him. But yeah, as I was saying from the bot line, Sonafine is now going to be in a bit of trouble, and this is the lane state that GURL wants, and honestly, it's really good on Nakar and Steve is died. I'm sorry, I can't even see his name. Steve is died. Stove is died. It's good on Stove is died and Nakar for getting this lane state that is relatively advantageous for them, even opening up a short CS lead.
Yeah, getting that CS lead is going to be really important, but it's not really enough to make a huge difference, especially considering it's only 5. I do expect Sadist in order to just kind of hang back here, keep farming up safely under tower. They're probably waiting for that Viego to continue the engage. Meantime, in the mid lane, we've got Neko getting chunked down to half health. Does have the stun available, so probably just waiting for the Azir to engage in a slightly inopportune moment as they wait for level 6.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Annie to navigate these early stages, and just similar to what we saw last time, falling behind in lane is something that Team GURL has struggled with. But here's coming
right there, Shen goes in, but he's going to end up getting a lot of damage taken as Viego was already there waiting for that engage. That is going to be a nice condemn coming out of Stove as Dieted in order to avoid the continued fight. Means that Team GURL is just going to essentially back off right now, but they're kind of not in a great spot.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there, but that was a good engage from Team GURL, managing to get off the flash taunt and not dying for the reprisal. You see this HP difference, as Neko's going to go for an all-in, but is not going to find much.
Not enough.
Yeah, but they did manage to reset the wave. It is in a relatively good spot, and if Neko can get off a safe back, this is going to put Team GURL in a decent position.
Yeah, meantime, we do see that Viego is right there by Raptors. I think they may have revealed themselves with the Black Mist coming around that corner. It was in range of Neko's minions, so they're aware that he's near this mid lane. In the meantime, we've got Zach kind of setting up vision around bot side. They're going to be looking to take this Drake, which is currently Cloud. Probably means that we're going to be seeing a Mountain Drake or looking at these two teams, I'm thinking Infernal.
Yeah, interesting uses of Tibbers from Neko, using it to zone fake Archer off the wave. Honestly, like the usage because now she's going to be able to shove in this big wave and not get punished as much as she otherwise would have. So, yeah, I haven't actually seen that many any players do that, but it ended up going out quite well in her favor now that she can secure a safe recall.
Yeah, securing that safe recall is actually really important because it caused Viego to go down there and basically waste their time. So with that, you're just going to have top lane shove into tower. Zach is not anywhere near there, just backing at Gromp. That means that we're probably going to be seeing a Drake pick up from Maxaroni. I expect them to take out this control ward here, start that up, because they've essentially got lane prio that's going to make it real easy for them to get it.
Yeah, but this CS advantage for the top side is quite large, already extending about 21 CS in the advantage of Pole Vaulter, so he's having a decent lane. He is going to need to pressure Yone a little bit harder because that assist is going to be balancing out the gold until maybe around 30 to 35 CS is when that breakpoint will occur, so I'm looking for him to get a little bit more pressure. Yone is an easy dive target, and that should definitely be an avenue that they're looking at.
Yes, and let's see here, as we move in, sorry, it's like, yeah, as we're looking at the state of this game, we've got, I'm trying to think, Rift Herald is probably going to be the next objective that comes up, just because, like, that's my gut we're going to see Viego probably go back here momentarily. Bacon getting a nice bit of engage onto this Darius. Basically, he's just got to keep trying to get some chunk onto Pole Vaulter, because there's no way he's going to be able to beat him in a 1v1.
Yeah, Poke is really important in this lane, but he is going to be in a relatively tough spot, but he has backup coming.
3-man gank coming up. We've got the ult coming out from Yone, getting the nice knock up, and that is going to be the stun coming out from Annie in order to get the kill.
Yeah, really good roam on the side of Neko. Good communication, also setting up a 3-man gank onto this Darius in a position where Bacon Pancakes would have been in trouble. You saw the wave state. When a wave is crashing, you always got to be concerned about a ganker being dived, and they didn't even have to full tower dive, so really smart on the side of Team GURL.
Exactly. We do have Maxaroni trying to come in here for a little bit of revenge, throwing out some abilities. Not quite able to make a connection, though. Looks like Bacon Pancakes, though, is continuing the fight, and he just takes so much more damage from Viego than he actually puts out.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. As soon as that red smite goes down, Viego has a decent shot of killing him. Red smite gets so much value, but that's going to be a Herald dropping. So Team GURL is just playing this early game, even despite the CS disadvantages in lane. At least on team-wide map play, they're doing significantly better than what we saw last week.
Right, macro-wise, it's still looking pretty good, and we do have the Mountain Drake coming up next here in about 3 minutes, which, again, leads me to believe that we're going to be having an Infernal coming up here momentarily. I'm trying to think here. We got Seraphine looking to move down into this bot lane. I keep forgetting that Shen is the support and not a top laner whenever I'm looking at this mini-map.
Yeah, and nope, fake Archer got his dash canceled.
Yep, got his dash canceled. Is not quite able to get away from the Zac, though. Zac being really, really sticky. He's getting a lot of damage out, but Viego's come here to kind of push him away.
Yeah, a bunch of damage onto Azir there. He's going to be forced to take a recall, and his dragon is going to be spawning in, actually 2 minutes rather, so not that much, but a little bit of war pressure, and maybe they can pressure a dive on this bot side, so overall, it's a good play from the side of Trulax finding that damage and getting Neko some breathing room in this lane.
Yeah, Neko has been doing fantastically with roaming, although they are, like, we're looking at the CS disadvantages right now. It is absolutely massive. Double CS advantage for basically CFG almost across the board. The only ones who are up on the side of Team GURL would be the bot lane. And look at this. There's so much damage coming out onto Bacon Pancakes.
Yeah, those 2 kills, if you look at the gold, are the only thing keeping this matchup even. So this is the importance of farming. Even if you're getting kills on the map, your enemy laner can still be ahead of you. And the Azir does have more gold in his back pocket, so that it doesn't get much easier until maybe teamfight phase where Annie can threaten to all in with flash. As we're going to go away.
Continuing in the top lane, and a Rift Herald dropped in the bot lane. Nice jump in engaged by Zac. That is a good dive as they get a kill. Necker going really, really low, trying to get away. Viego is able to pick it up. He's going to get the reset as he jumps in on him. Does get the health regen, and when Stove is died, it is basically going to walk away. That is going to be 3 plates down as we have a dive happening up here in the top lane. So looks like we're going to have Bacon kind of jump in on this, just get a decent amount of damage. Looks like he'd already gotten him low with the chunk. His ulti was down from an earlier engagement. He's basically able to follow this up. The heals coming out are not enough as Bacon Pancakes manages to get a nice bit of damage.
Yeah, absolutely, extremely well done. This team GURL is I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far. This is an extremely aggressive early game. They're finding avenues, they're finding ways to affect these lanes, and you know the mid and top may be in trouble. Oh, actually, Neko's going to be
Ooh,
in a
that
little
was
trouble
a
here.
nice engage by Fake Archer in order to get around the edge. That is going to be the Shen ulti coming out. Shen does arrive in time to save. Not close enough for a dash, though, but that is going to be a Neko living until the next day.
Yeah, and Maxaroni almost found himself in the grave trying to contest onto Neko. Really good channel, but yeah, as I was saying, their communication in their early game has been extremely well done. Finding all these advantages and really pressuring these lanes is something we hadn't seen much from them before. And even despite these CS advantages, they're managing to keep it close, or
They have
it's actually in advantage actually.
They have done a fantastic job, and it's been really great seeing them do this well against CFG. This is kind of one of those matches where we were kind of like trying to figure out who is who. Look at this, Sonofine getting a nice bit of damage onto Nekker. Nekker is taking a lot of damage right now because they've only built the Bramble Vest, so they're basically trying to negate the Tristana, but they're still taking all of that AP damage.
Yeah, it's a smart early build. I'm sorry, a smart early purchase into Seraphine. She does have a lot of healing, and it looks like she is going to go for that Moonstone Renewer, which is going to provide a little bit more on the back end also. So I like the avenue. It's obviously going to slow down his Mythic, and Shen is a really good user of it, especially when Locket, but Bacon Pancake's going to go for a fight here.
Yeah, he's getting a nice bit of fighting, but Pole Vaulter has got the damage as he just gets a massive amount of bleed on there, already chunking down to half health.
Yeah, but Yone has made it out the rough patch where the Darius poke is going to be less advantageous as far as the game goes on, especially when he has that snapback available to get some good trades in. But here's a root, so Stove's going to be in trouble.
Stove is going to be in a lot of trouble as they're getting charmed as well. Look at that bomb damage, taking him down to basically nothing from half.
Yeah, really good root from the side of Sonofine. There's a reason why it's in her name, and that she basically set up the entire play, getting the pick onto Stove, which is going to even see them this dragon. So unless Trulax is going to come in with a Smite Steal from across the wall.
Yeah, basically, we're going to have the easy Mountain Drake pickup right here by the side of CFG as they take that down, and we have the Infernal Drake coming up now in 5 minutes. Team GURL has gone 0 for 2 with these dragon fights. They've basically given them up each time. However, you put 4 Infernal Drakes onto Gorilla Muffins right now, that is going to be nasty.
And here comes Bacon Pancake. He's going to get a big trade on that. The snapback is going to do a lot of damage. Only one stack gotten from the Darius, so he's not doing very well. He's kind of running away from the Yona, not really contesting the fight very much. And with the Apprehend missing, this is going to give Bacon Pancake a lot of agency in this lane.
It is. Neko's about half health right now. They're in a dangerous position. I believe that Azir could theoretically engage. They do have ult up, so they're able to get that fight. Bacon trying to stop the back from the Darius. Isn't able to do it. Pole Vaulter getting back, getting himself a couple more items. Looks like he's right on his way to getting that Wit's End.
Yeah, but that recall was at a really disadvantageous time. Bacon Pancakes might just get this tower straight up. And First Blood Tower going over to a Yone in a matchup he was not supposed to win is really well done from the side of Bacon Pancakes.
Yes, that is a fantastic job on his part. Picking up that first tower is going to make it a lot easier to start influencing the rest of the map because it's just going to put so much more pressure onto this Darius to keep up there. With that, I would probably expect a rotation, though, out of Tristana and Seraphine. Just get them up into that top lane, let them start pushing that wave out so that they basically have an easier time of it, and allow Darius to start affecting the rest of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. But Darius is this is a nightmare situation for Darius. You're behind the lane, a solo kill was given over to your enemy laner. He's extremely far ahead, coming back to base with shield bow, and you don't have teleport, so you can't really match the plays in any way you're not expected to be. So Pole Vaulter is gonna have a really difficult game so far, especially now that I think Yone could probably just beat him straight up the door.
More than likely, I think that it's also, you've got Zac up there right now, so he's probably going to be looking to stop this back, but it's just basically going to walk right on by. This is probably going to be looking for another Rift Herald pickup, and if because there's nobody there, they could easily just sneak this if they did.
Yeah, but it looks like they're gonna go for a safer play, not looking to go for Rift Herald right now. They honestly could have. They're gonna have priority in both their mid and top lane. Neither of the support players are moving, but Shen has ultimate, so that could have been a good fight setup if they were gonna look to go for a little bit more of an aggressive angle. As Nick was gonna flash in.
Echo is going to flash in, getting a lot of damage off. Fake Archer getting really, really low, but they're going to be able to walk away. Neko just walking back to the safety under tower as we've got Tibbers in the mid lane trying to take out some of these minions, get taken down by Viego. In the meantime, we do have Bacon Pancake swooping down here, probably looking for a nice engage, basically just walking around in the river. You know, one advantage that they have on Team GURL with this Shen Vayne bot lane is the fact that because they're pushed under tower so much, it does allow an easy time for Shen to just keep looking for opportunities to ult across the map.
Yeah, and you know, Neko has to be a little bit of salty there from that ult lane. Her comment was just off of cooldown, so it went off late and didn't land onto the Azir. That would have been enough damage to take him out.
Yeah, it's always really frustrating whenever your abilities are just slightly out of cooldown timers.
Yeah, but as you were saying, like this is probably going to be in a bit of a lost state. So for the next minute and a half, there shouldn't be much action. Really good, well done on the side of Stove, keeping a CS lead. 144 at 17 minutes is pretty good. So these 80 carries are on a decent clip and can continue to do so. But Stove probably has either close to the most gold or almost the most gold in the game. So well done on his part.
Very much so. We do see Sonafine always looking for those engages, getting a nice bit of damage off. Haven't finished their quest though, and it's already 20 minutes into the game. So that makes me kind of a little bit worried for them. They haven't been able to quite get as much vision on the map in that case. That is going to be an easy scuttle crab pickup though for CFG.
Yeah, and what we saw from that gold graph showing up on the screen for a little bit, that the gold leader is Bacon Pancakes, and that Yone having that much gold in his pocket is really dangerous, as Neko is going to have some pressure going down on her mid tower.
Super terrifying. And it's kind of funny, you saw the pings for the assistance on the mid lane turret, but basically the rest of CFG just decides to walk away, walk straight over to this Rift Herald. If Team GURL's probably aware that they're doing this, but in the meantime, you got Vayne in the bot lane going to push in on this tower, get a decent amount of damage there, and I think that we're just going to see Gorilla Muffins just give up the Rift on this one.
Oh, the stun's going to
Oh, wait, I could be wrong with the jump across. We have the drop and the Mike coming out. That is a lot of damage. It does look like that it was picked up, though, by CFG. That's going to be a passive Zac going out as the bleed finishes off. Yone going over the wall, a little bit overzealous, not quite in the direction he wanted to go. Didn't actually manage to pick anybody up. Maxaroni is able to ult away, though. That was really close.
Yeah, absolutely. The R went well done, but the big beneficiary is side of Stove, getting that free wave, multiple waves hitting that bot tower, and getting the wave reset. So it looks like even with the fight going a little bit in this, a little bit even with the Rift Herald going over to the side of CFG. Look at all this damage going onto his mid tower. They're going to take this, and that's a lot of gold coming over in the side of Team GURL.
Well, they're not going to take it quite yet, as it looks like they just kind of back off a little bit, trying to stop poor Stove from getting caught out by the Azir. Azir's going to basically back off. Zac jumping over the wall, running from the Sadist. We have a control ward now in the Dragon Pit, though they are starting it up. So this is actually a really risky fight for Gorilla Muffins.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are preparing. Yone's in the mid lane, so he's here for this.
He is. We see Azir getting a nice engage onto Necker, basically forcing them out of lane. That is going to be the smite coming down from Viego as the Calm Cool Collected One is able to get the smite win, picking up the third Drake that puts them on soul point. We do see the chase continuing here as we have Yone jumping over the wall. Isn't quite able to finish off any of the members, though. That is going to be 5 for 5 as basically Viego just kind of walked up for a leash dragon.
Yeah, really big smite steal on the side of Macaron, contesting these objectives. That's going to put them on soul point at 20 minutes. So 25, an Infernal Soul is definitely a bunch of resources that could help get them back into the game. It's going to be on Team GURL to control these dragons and not prevent anything further, because they can't afford to bleed out anything else.
They really can't, and it's like it's so dangerous right now for them to be giving up soul this early, especially in Infernal. I'm kind of expecting right now that with the way the game state is, it does look like we have this top wave pushing in quite a bit, but I feel like that's just making it easier for CFG to basically get some free farm on these towers. They're just able to walk up and farm safely underneath them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this game has gone really quite slow. Not that much aggression going out. The Shen ultimate is still available. So neither side is really willing to fight that often. They're trying to collect up as much CS as they can. And these late allocations are going to be putting Neko in a really difficult spot, as she's going to have a lot of pressure going onto her mid-tower towers constantly, and Annie does not have the best wave with her.
It's a 3v2 right now. Rift Herald is getting dropped. We see Neko trying to get some damage out in order to avoid too much going on. Is able to pick up a kill onto the support as Sonafine goes down. That's going to be a Rift Herald, though, managing to pick up the tower. It's going to get killed almost instantly, though. They were almost able to stop it, but were not able to do so in time.
Yeah, that was quite illegal. You cannot do that into Annie, walking up into the full combo and getting put straight in the dirt for it. But here's Bacon Pancakes getting a big fight.
Pancakes going in on Pole Vaulter, getting a lot of damage out, getting a nice bit of going on. We have the Shen ulti coming down as well as he's coming to join the fight. Doesn't quite make it though, as we have Zach joining in as well, bouncing around, trying to get some assistance. Is not able to do it as Darius picks up himself another kill. That is going to be a double kill. The Decimate picking it up for him. The bleed on Neko is absolutely disgusting as he just completely hemorrhages out, and there is just nothing they can do. That is going to be a Baron start, and we could be seeing a 22-minute Baron.
Yeah, 3 dead. There's Vayne is bot lane. There's nothing that's going to be able to follow up. Teleports aren't available. So yeah, this is just going to be a 22-minute Baron. And you got this over-aggression from Bacon Pancakes, throwing his lead, giving 2 kills to Pole Vaulter, who then picks up a 3rd one chasing down Neko. And all those advantages Team GURL has built up in the early game is completely gone, and CFG is going to take control.
CFG has done a very good job of staying calm, cool, and collected during that very beginning of the game as they were Gorilla Muffins were taking control of the match, but they have now turned it around, picking themselves up a very early Baron. It is just going to put so much pressure on Gorilla Muffins now as they are already starting to fall behind.
Yeah, a lot of gold being picked up and getting that advantage for CFG. Honestly, this Vayne is going to be a big carry in the late game, but she's going to struggle a lot to really find autos in these team fights, especially when you consider how much the range disadvantage she has into both Tristana and Azir and Seraphine, who can hit her from basically across the map. So Stove is going to have to find an avenue to be useful, and frankly, Team GURL is going to need to be a lot more patient when they're looking for where they're going to fight and how they're going to set for these objectives.
I completely agree. That Vayne pickup so early in the draft is coming back to bite them in the butt. I do like the way that Azir has been doing. We've been seeing a lot of work coming out from Fake Archer, doing a fantastic job laning against Neko, despite the fact that Neko got so strong, just maintaining their CS lead. And this is why you have an early lead. You got to be able to close out those games quickly. Look at this. We have Necker getting engaged on. That is going to be knocked back by the Azir. There's nowhere for him to go. He has no way to escape, and he just gets completely obliterated.
Yeah, really good pick. Necker is going to be dropping in yet again. Team GURL has not been able to get any control into this bot side river just because of how much push was coming out from this Tristana Seraphine. So it's really impeding their efforts to get any pressure down. And since they never have wards, it's hard to fight for these dragons. And it's only a minute before they have the soul.
Bacon Pancakes jumping over the edge, trying to make himself some breakfast, but isn't quite able to do it, and is able to having to run away.
Yeah, absolutely. But he forced the Seraphine out. Yeah, he forced the Seraphine ultimate out with that engage, and that's an extremely long cooldown, 40 seconds onto this dragon, and they're going to be forced to fight. Teleport is available for Bacon Pancakes, so this could easily be the fight that's going to decide who's going to be taking this game.
It could be. I have a feeling, though, that CFG is going to be ready for him. They're going to be waiting for this. We have Vayne right there picking up some extra gold. Darius picking up another turret. Pole Vaulter has been doing a great job of picking up these kills. That triple kill that he got earlier is the only thing he has to his name right now, besides the 172 CS, but it is all he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. His laning phase did not go into his favor, but if you look at how much gold he picked up from that, and he just got a solo tier 2 tower, which is 600 gold in your pocket, 2 kills he just grabbed just from that. So he's coming into this fight strong with everything he has, and frankly, if they don't kill him as fast as possible, and that Sterix doesn't get a lot of value, it's going to be really hard for them to win this fight.
Brulax starting up the dragon, but he's already half health and is just basically this fight. They're choosing to fight on the dragon rather than engaging on the rest of CFG, as CFG just comes and walks their way in. That is a lot of damage right now. Smite is coming out as once again Blue picks up the Drake yet again. That is going to be the Infernal Soul going over to CFG. This is an 8-5 game, 9-5 game as the rest of the poor Team Gorilla Muffins just completely annihilated.
Yeah, absolutely. That fight was not even close. The ultimate from Yon was not able to seal anyone. He missed it. He missed it completely, and there's just not enough damage coming out. And their composition is really burst oriented. So if that damage doesn't come out from Annie and Yon to get Vayne room to get her resetting ultimate, then that is just not enough value. And you see how little it has done with all this gold now being collected up and a massive gold lead just being taken by CFG.
Poor Pole Vaulter just trying to take the tower as the tower just keeps targeting him to fight this fact that there's minions underneath. That is going to be an inhibitor pickup in the mid lane in addition to a tier 2 tower in the bot side. So that is basically the entirety of the objectives are on the side of CFG. We've only seen 2 towers picked up for the side of Gorilla Muffins.
Yeah, a little early on that inhib pickup. I'm not a fan of picking the inhib up at 26 minutes. You usually want to wait until like 28, 29, or until the Baron is coming up available, because they're not really going to be able to do much. Mid is so easy to push out, and that's kind of funneling gold into the side of Gorilla Muffin, so a little bit of a reprieve on that note. But yeah, these team fights aren't getting any easier, and until Annie gets her death cap, she's not going to do enough damage just to one-shot a carry from full HP, so with an Inferno Soul you're fighting into, this is an uphill battle for Team GURL.
It is. We're gonna probably be seeing Andy trying to farm it up in order to get that death cap. I'm trying to think of what exactly CFG is going to be looking here, because they've got all of these waves pushed out. You're right. There's basically so few objectives across the entire map for them to be taking. They've already farmed the jungle to basically extinction, so they've just got to wait for Gorilla Muffins to shove the lanes into them.
Yeah, and Trulax hasn't been able to find much input into the game. There's not really been an angle for him. He's just appearing on these team fights, and Zach, who isn't as far ahead of the Viego, just doesn't get a lot of value. And the crit coming through on Viego, this is a different flavor of build. This is not the old tanky on-hit version. This is definitely more of an assassin Viego.
Yes, and I think that that's exactly what we're going to be seeing with the Viego changes that have occurred. You can't really build him as tanky and have as much damage, so you got to go for that squishy build that's going to basically make you one-shot everybody. But it seems to be like it's working out perfectly well for Maxaroni.
Yeah, Kraken Slayer was always a pretty decent item on him. It does give him, he does proc it extremely quickly in multiple succession, plus true damage is always great. So I'm surprised he didn't go full of shield bow. I honestly thought that was going to be the replacement, just of how much tankiness Viego tends to need. But in a game like this, where he kind of can just run it over whenever with whoever he wants, and there's not much threat of him being one shot, this is probably the correct fit.
Yes, when you've got two targets like an Annie and a Vayne that are really like your main damage threats that you have to worry about, and then Bacon Pancakes is just going to get locked down by everybody else, Viego going for that high crit damage is definitely the way to go. We do see that Baron is about to come up here, so with that, that is going to be a pure objective game going over to CFG, as they're most likely going to be able to take this pretty quickly before Gorilla Muffins even has a chance to react.
Yeah, let's see if there's going to be any reprieve. The Yone's bot side with no teleport, so even if they take this fight, it's going to be a 4v5.
They're just melting it!
Yeah, it's just gone. There's no way. You can't have leaving Azir in front of Baron with 3 soldiers up and expect him to live that long. So, a nice Baron pickup instantly, right on cooldown. Everybody's ready for it. Really well done on the side of CFG. And honestly, this should be the Baron push that they should be able to use to close out. Let's see how well they can execute and finish in the game, because they don't want to give Team GURL too much time to scale.
You know, with the way friend or foe has always been, it's closing out games seems to be like the toughest thing for these teams. We're not seeing another 3 Baron 40-minute game coming out of Gorilla Muffins this time, I don't think, but they're definitely going to be putting up one hell of a fight. Trying to clear out this vision that they have in their own jungle is probably their main priority right now, and there's really not a lot else they can do on the map.
Yeah, a massive amount of... Actually, I just noticed that Sadis chose to go for Stormrazor. I hope he's in the interview so someone can ask him about that one, because I have not seen Stormrazor be built on anyone in ages. But, I mean, it does provide a slow, so it can be useful for Seraphine Ultimate to land on multiple targets. But, yeah, this is going to be very difficult to defend against this Siege. The range is here. This is too much, really, to defend against. This is a level 15 Tristana, who is one of the longest range carries in the game, and just getting out those procs on the tower can be extremely dangerous.
Just Baron-empowered minions are going to be so hard to deal with. We've got a 1-2-2 going on right now as we have Azir in the bot lane pushing out, putting up the tower, basically shutting off yet another lane for Gorilla Muffins. And then in the top lane, Darius is going to be pushing super hard into this inhibitor turret. And Yone has been able to fight up until now, though, but we have Viego chasing down Nico, who got it caught in the backline, and that is just going to get them completely bursted down.
Yeah, really good on the side of Neko, though. Picking up that solo kill onto the Azir, even though she's going to trade her life for it, that's a lot of pressure, and that can waste a lot of this Baron time, as now they got to push into a 4v5 with Neko being available first. So if there's going to be a chance to fight, this is where they're going to go.
On the back line, big fight breaking out as we got a lot of jumps coming up, a lot of displacement. There's not a lot of damage on the side of Gorilla Muffins as they're able to come in. Yone picking up a kill, getting the shutdown onto Sonafine. That is going to be a dead Sonafine right there, but Viego's going to get the reset as they take down the Vayne, and that is going to be another push as they continue into this Gorilla Muffin base.
Yeah, really well done getting that team fight enough. Bacon Pancakes doesn't drop.
Trying to re-engage.
Yeah, he's going to take a bunch of damage, but yeah, that could prevent them from losing the game. But teleports are coming through. Fake Archer is back.
Pole Vaulter going into Flash, try and get the apprehend, isn't quite able to do it. They're just dealing so much damage to this turret, though. It's basically going to be a base race. Nexus is going to be open here momentarily. Azir getting a nice knockback, keeping Zac from continuing the engage. Huge Decimate hitting 3 members of Gorilla Muffins. That is going to be an execution coming down as the Noxian Guillotine manages to find a target. Doesn't manage to pick up the kill, though. Neko going down, though, as Azir jumps right on them. Viego getting a lot of damage as well. Look at this. That is Tristana getting the execute on the tower, and that is just going to be the Nexus falling for Coin Flip Gaming. Oh, sorry, we still got this fight continuing as Vayne decided to pop out and they decided to go for the final kill, but they are not quite able to pick it up before the Nexus explodes. That was a good effort to try and stop the Nexus, but unfortunately Stove is Dided was not able to do too much. Getting caught out by Viego during that last fight just is so devastating to that team comp, as they were not able to help continue that defense. And unfortunately, CFG let it appear that Gorilla Muffins had control of the reins the whole time, but in the meantime, they were just guiding them down the path they wanted to walk.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that we've seen a lot from Team GURL. This is one of their struggles that they had when they were in the league before. But on the positive, there's a lot of development. There's a lot of growth that they managed to put out even in this losing effort. Their early game was much improved. They managed to find these plays, but that triple kill that was given over by a little bit of the over-aggression of Bacon Pancakes in the blue side of the jungle, they were never really able to recover from that. You gave over Baron, you gave over 3 kills to a Darius who was behind in gold, and you really couldn't find any angles into the game after that. And then you just saw how hard it was to execute in these team fights with so much of a range disadvantage coming out from your carries. And what can you say? CFG played a better game, and then they deserved to get this win.
They did a fantastic job, and I think that Maxaroni on that Viego did a great job of showing that even though was gutted by the changes this time around, Viego is still a champion you have to watch out for. With that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with an interview, so stick around.
Hello, everyone. Chris Edgeworth here for today's first interview. I am joined for the first time by someone from CoinFlip Gaming. I'm joined by Pole Volter, the top laner for CFG. Congratulations on the big win, and how are you feeling?
Feeling great, man. This
That-
was a thrill of a game, honestly.
I'm going to ask you your thoughts on the game in a second, and but first I want to talk a little bit about just entering the league. So this is a team of fresh faces coming into our league, and as we expand into our two leagues of Helios and Luna. So talk to me a little bit, if you would, about what it was like for you and the members of your team coming into a series of organized play, and what was your prep for that?
I can't speak for everyone on my team, but I know for myself, I didn't intend to join in this season league. I just wanted to play Clash. I made a Reddit post asking for teammates to play Clash with, because at the time, my usual friends weren't available. But then the team leader at the time was Giorno Giovanna, and he approached me with an offer if I was interested in league play like this. I decided why not. It seemed fun, and if I didn't like it, then I could just drop out. But I could tell that this team took it seriously, so I took it seriously as well. I definitely put in practice, try to refine my play. Although I didn't have a great first week showing, I think we can definitely put up a good fight in this season for sure.
Well, that's certainly a story that we like to hear. Someone from far beyond our reaches getting brought in by someone else who's heard of us. So that's really cool to hear that there's a pipeline here and that you're liking what you see, not only from your teammates and that we are giving you something to fight for, something that's challenging you folks. So that's really an excellent thing to hear. And now let's pivot from there into the game that we just played. Could you give me some thoughts on your draft? You were on the Darius in this game, up against the Yone top. What were your thoughts on your draft, your team's draft, and also what you're up against?
Our thoughts on the draft was that for sure we were trying to think about our star player, our ADC. He's a beast on the Vayne, and a lot of teams that we scrim against or play against, they definitely play for that. They either try to take it or ban it away. In this instance, they took it away from him, although our ADC is very experienced against the Vayne, so it isn't like a liability to us. If anything, we kind of we kind of want people to take the Vayne. Makes it easier.
That's
For the rest of the draft,
keep going.
it's just kind of like our comfort picks, I would say. Like, especially with our support, our mid laner, jungler, ADC even. The Darius pick was because I wasn't sure if the Yone was going mid or top. So I just decided to blind pick a top laner that could put up a decent fight against a lot of the roster. I was surprised to fight the Yone top. It's a very rare niche pick. That does take a lot of skill to pull it off decently. Bacon Pancakes, I have to respect him for ringing it out here. I did think that he played the lane very well. I have to respect him for that. I'd love to practice with him in 1v1s if he's up for it.
Excellent. Well, yeah, that was quite the matchup. It was probably the most competitive matchup on the Rift in that game. It felt like he was really pushing you, and one of those things that I noticed in the damage charts is that your team actually was not the top of the damage charts comparatively, but a lot of that damage for mostly Vayne and Neko, or Stove is died, I should say, and Neko. It was damage that didn't translate into kills. So it looks good on the graph, but it wasn't effective damage. Whereas when I looked at a lot of the times when you were trading back, you were getting good damage that you were translating, or at least using for pressure. So that's what I would say about a lot of those matchups, and especially your matchup top lane is that both you and Bacon Pancakes, I felt were both making effective damage.
I agree.
Now, let's go from there and talk a little bit about your thoughts for you going forward. What kind of damage do you see that your team might be able to do in this league, having had the opportunity to see these teams play in the last week and a half, or the last week rather?
I would say that we definitely have a shot for first or second, for sure. I'm feeling confident. Our team is for sure putting in the time to improve as a team and individually as well. And so far, I haven't fought against every team, so it's hard to say for sure. But that's my overall feelings in regards to this league.
Wow, that would be
yeah.
that's quite a statement, honestly, for a team that's notching their first win, no flame. But I think that's really awesome that you've looked around and you're just like, record doesn't reflect where we're at. We're gonna turbo gooba stomp these guys. So that would be really awesome to see. And congratulations to CoinFlip Gaming. Congratulations to you, Pole Vaulter, on this win. Before we step away and take a break before our next game, I'd like to leave you the opportunity. Any final thoughts before we step away? Any banter? Any shoutouts?
I have to shout out my good friend Ryder. They've been an amazing person to me. I've lost to them a lot in top lane 1v1s, trying to learn matchups, trying to improve as a top laner. They've been very patient with me, so I have to give them props.
All right, well, right on. And folks, that's going to be it for this game. We're going to take a short break. I want to thank Pole Vaulter again for this interview. Congrats to CoinFlip Gaming on the first win. And folks, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back soon with our second broadcast game of the day. So don't go away.
湖岸流大魔プロ術許しを得たのがこの不実。